When was the last time you really played with your cat? And I don't mean a quick wave of the toy on your way to bed. Most people tell themselves cats don't really need it. They're independent, built to be fine on their own. But that idea is wrong. Never's an anus. And it's costing them more than you think. Skip play, like most owners do, and you could be quietly taking years off your cat's life and stealing who they were meant to become. Maybe you've told yourself the same story everyone does: my cat seems happy enough. But happy enough and truly thriving are two very different things, and the gap between them is wider than most owners ever realise. By the end of this video, you'll understand 6 things about your cat that almost nobody talks about, 6 shifts that happen in their body, their brain and their bond with you the moment play becomes a real part of their day. Some of these will surprise you. One of them, especially the last one, will probably make you look at your cat differently for the rest of the day. So stick with me, because reason number 6 is the one almost nobody sees coming. Let's start with what's really going on in their head. Your cat stops living so anxious and tense. Have you ever watched your cat just sit there, staring at the wall, tail twitching, looking like something's bothering them, but you can't quite figure out what? Here's the thing most people don't realise. A lot of cats are walking around with a low hum of stress they have no way to let out. They were built to hunt, to chase, to stalk, to pounce, dozens of times a day, and then we put them in a cosy home with a food bowl that's always full, and all that energy and instinct has nowhere to go, so it turns inward. That's where the trouble starts. The scratching at your couch, the yowling at 3 alone in the morning, the over-grooming until there's a little bald patch. We call it bad behaviour, but most of the time it isn't bad behaviour at all. It's a cat with no outlet, dealing with tension the only way they know how. This is where daily play changes everything. When your cat gets to chase and catch, even a feather on a string, their body finally burns through that built-up stress like a release valve. And this isn't just a nice theory. In a study published in the journal Animals, researchers found that cats living in a richer, more stimulating environment had nearly half the stress hormone in their bodies compared to cats with less to do. Half, but here's the part people miss. Play is only one piece of it. That same research points to the whole setup your cat lives in: a tall post to really dig their claws into, a high shelf to look down from, a quiet hideaway that's theirs alone. To us it's just furniture. To your cat, every one of those things is a place to act like a cat, and another pressure valve for all that tension. Put it together, daily play plus a home built for them, and over a few weeks you'll watch them soften. Calmer, less on edge, more themselves. But here's what almost nobody connects, and I'll come back to this at the very end. That daily release isn't only calming your cat down, it's slowly rewiring how safe they feel in their own home, and who they decide to trust with that safety. Hold on to that thought. It changes everything once you see it, and stress in cats doesn't always look like stress. Sometimes it's loud and obvious: the growling, the hissing at nothing, the bolting under the bed when a door closes a little too hard. But just as often, it's quiet. A cat who suddenly stops using the litter box right. A cat who hides more than they used to. A cat who flinches at sounds they used to ignore. Owners chase these problems one at a time: a new litter box, a new brand of food, a trip to the vet that finds nothing wrong when the real, simple cause was sitting in the closet the whole time. An unused toy. Think about what enrichment actually means to a cat. It isn't luxury. It's necessity dressed up as furniture. A scratching post isn't just there to save your couch. It's how a cat marks territory and releases tension through their paws. A cat tree by the window isn't decoration. It's a surveillance post. A place where they can watch the world and feel like they're in control of it instead of hiding from it. Even something as small as a cardboard box folded into a hideaway gives your cat a place to retreat to when the world feels like too much, the same way you might close a door and sit quietly for 5 minutes after a hard day. Now layer daily play on top of that kind of environment, and the effect compounds. It isn't 15 minutes of toy plus a cat tree sitting separately in the room. It's a cat whose whole day finally has outlets built into it, the way nature intended, instead of one long stretch of waiting for something to happen. Owners who make this shift often say the same thing a few weeks in. Their cat seems lighter somehow, easier in their own skin, like a weight they didn't even know was there has finally lifted.
That's not your imagination.
That's a nervous system finally getting to do what it was built to do. Now here's something just as important. Your cat ages slower than they should. What if I told you the cat napping on your couch right now could be aging faster than they have to, and you'd never see it happening until it's too late? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Indoor cats are built to move in short, explosive bursts, the way they would hunting in the wild, but most of them spend their days doing almost nothing. And a body that stops moving starts breaking down quietly from the inside.
Yes, it usually starts with weight. A little extra here, a little more there, and it creeps up so slowly you don't notice.
But this isn't just about a chubby cat being cute. According to the Association for Pet Obesity Prevention, more than 60% of cats in the US are overweight, and most of their owners have no idea their cat is one of them. And that extra weight is genuinely dangerous. It's tied to diabetes, to heart disease, to joint damage, even to some cancers. It's the difference between a cat who used to leap onto the counter and one who now hesitates at the bottom of the stairs. Now here's the part that should make you feel hopeful instead of guilty. This is almost entirely preventable, and it costs you about 10 minutes. When your cat chases, leaps and pounces every day, they're burning off that creeping weight, keeping their muscles strong. And most importantly, keeping their joints loose and working. The cat who plays at 12 years old moves like a cat half their age. They don't just live longer, they stay genuinely younger, sharper and more themselves for years more than they would have otherwise. And the type of movement matters more than people think. A cat doesn't need a 30-minute jog like a dog does. Their bodies are built for sprint and rest, the same pattern a wild cat uses stalking prey through grass. That means a great play session isn't one long stretch of constant motion. It's short, intense bursts, a hard sprint across the room, a leap onto the back of the couch, a pounce on a toy dragged just out of reach, followed by a pause to catch their breath before doing it again. 3 to 5 of those bursts in a single session does more for a cat's body than 20 minutes of half-hearted dangling a toy in front of their face. And this matters even more as cats get older. A lot of owners quietly retire play once their cat passes 7 or 8, assuming a senior cat doesn't want it anymore, or can't handle it. But veterinarians who study feline mobility have pointed out that gentle, regular movement is exactly what keeps an aging cat's joints from stiffening up in the first place. You don't need your 11-year-old cat leaping off the bookshelf. You need them stalking a feather along the floor for 2 or 3 minutes low impact. Joints moving, blood flowing. Muscle staying just engaged enough to hold its strength. Skip it entirely, and that's when you start to see a cat decline fast. The stiff walk, the hesitation at the stairs, the muscle wasting along their spine that vets see far too often in cats who simply stopped moving years before anyone noticed. The fix isn't complicated, it's just consistency. A cat who plays a little every single day ages on a completely different curve than a cat who doesn't, and that curve is the difference between a cat who's still chasing toys at 15 and one who's struggling to jump onto the couch at 9. And hey, if this is already changing how you see playtime, hit like and subscribe so we can reach more cat lovers who want to add real years to the life of the cat they love. There's something else going on too. Your cat finally feels the thrill of the catch. Here's a question almost no one stops to ask. When your cat plays, what is their brain actually chasing? It isn't just the toy, it's a feeling, an ancient one wired into them long before they ever met you. Every cat carries a hunting sequence in their brain. Stalk, chase, pounce, catch, bite. It runs in that exact order. And your cat doesn't choose it any more than you choose to feel hungry. It just fires. And here's what most people get wrong. When your cat stalks and chases, but never gets to catch anything, that sequence is left hanging, unfinished. This is the hidden problem with laser pointers, by the way. Your cat chases that little red dot with everything they have, but they can never actually catch it. The hunt never closes. And behaviour experts have flagged that this can quietly build frustration and stress, never and on, because the brain keeps waiting for a finish line that never comes. But when they do catch it, when their paws finally close around that toy and they sink their teeth in, something clicks. The chase floods their brain with dopamine, that chemical rush of the chase, and the catch is what finally lets it resolve. That's the thrill. That's the moment your cat was built for. And every single day you give them that small win, you're handing them a feeling of pure, complete satisfaction they simply can't get any other way indoors. So, here's a tip that changes everything. Always let them win. End every session with a real catch, something they can grab and bite, and you'll see a cat walk away calm and proud instead of wound up. And here's something most people never think to ask. Does it matter what kind of toy you use? It actually does, more than you'd expect. Cats aren't one single kind of hunter. Some are drawn to anything that moves like a bird fast, erratic. Up high, a feather wand snapped through the air. Others are wired more like mousers low to the ground, slow, deliberate stalking of something small that scurries along the floor. Watch which one lights your cat up the most, and you'll learn something real about who they are underneath the fur on your couch. And here's a detail almost nobody mentions. In multi-cat homes, the catch matters just as much for keeping the peace as it does for any single cat's satisfaction. Two cats chasing the same toy without ever each getting their own clean catch can actually build tension between them, a kind of low simmering rivalry over an unfinished hunt. Give each cat their own toy, their own turn, their own moment of catching and winning, and you'll often see squabbles that seemed like personality clashes quietly disappear. It was never really about the cats not liking each other. It was an unfinished hunt looking for somewhere to go. Your cat's whole life runs on one ancient loop. Hunt, catch, eat, groom, sleep, in that order every time. In the wild, a cat hunts, makes the kill, eats their catch, cleans up, and then crashes into a deep sleep fully satisfied. That's the natural rhythm their body's begging to follow. But an indoor cat with a bowl that's always full, they get the eating, the grooming, and the sleeping. The hunting part, your Wemmelses. The part that actually tires them out, just never happens. So, all that energy has nowhere to go. And it comes roaring back at the worst possible time, usually right when your head hits the pillow. There's a reason the timing of all this matters as much as the play itself. Cats are crepuscular, which is a fancy way of saying they're naturally wired to be most alert and active at dawn and dusk, the exact hours their wild ancestors hunted when prey was easiest to find and the heat of the day had passed. That's not a coincidence, and it's not something you can train out of them. It's why your cat seems to come alive right around the time you're winding down for the evening pacing, staring at you, sometimes literally bringing you the toy themselves. They're not being difficult. They're telling you, almost word for word, that it's hunting time. Owners who make this one small timing shift often see results within days, not weeks. The cat who used to sprint across the bedroom at 3 am starts sleeping through until morning instead, simply because the hunt that used to be missing from their day finally happened on schedule, hours before bedtime instead of in the middle of the night. It's such a small adjustment, and yet it's the difference between fighting your cat's biology every single night and finally working with it. Do this every day and something quietly shifts. Your cat stops waking you up. Their energy settles into a rhythm that matches yours. And the best part? That predictable daily rhythm doesn't just help them sleep, it makes them feel safe. A cat who knows what to expect from their day is a calm cat, and that calm is the ground everything else is built on. Think about what you actually become during play. You're not the food bowl. You're not the hand that cleans the litter box. In those few minutes, you become the one who brings the hunt, the source of the single best feeling in your cat's day. And cats are wired to form their deepest bonds around exactly that, the shared thrill of the chase and the catch. Researchers studying the cat and human relationship have pointed to interactive play as one of the real ways that bond gets built and held together over time. It isn't the feeding, it's the playing. And the bond isn't just emotional, it's physical too. Researchers who study the human-animal connection have found that positive interactions like play can be linked to the release of oxytocin in both species, the same chemical involved in bonding between a parent and child. Every slow blink your cat gives you across the room, every gentle headbutt against your hand, every time they knead a blanket beside you and start to purr, that's the language of trust building in real time, and play is one of the fastest ways to grow it. Owners sometimes ask why their cat seems to love one family member more than another, even when everyone feeds them and cleans their litter box equally. Almost every time, the answer is the same. It's whoever shows up consistently with the toy, not the person with the gentlest voice, not the person who gives the most treats, the person who reliably becomes the hunt. That's the part most people never connect. The deepest bond in your house isn't built at the food bowl. It's built on the floor, 10 minutes at a time, every single evening. And there's one last thing, the one almost nobody sees coming. Your cat becomes braver than they've ever been. Here's something almost nobody expects walking into this. A cat who plays regularly doesn't just get calmer and healthier, they actually become more confident in situations that have nothing to do with toys at all. Think about what a successful catch actually teaches your cat's brain. Over and over, day after day, I tried something, it worked, I won. That's not a small thing. That's the exact same kind of small, repeated success that builds confidence in any animal, including us. This is especially true for cats who came from rough starts rescues, former strays. Cats who spent their early life with no safety and no control over anything that happened to them. For a cat like that, every clean catch is proof, in a language only they understand, that they're capable, that they're safe, that good things can be chased down and won. Owners of once skittish rescue cats often describe a slow transformation over months of consistent play. A cat who used to bolt at the sound of the doorbell starts walking toward it instead. A cat who used to hide from guests starts watching them curiously from across the room. And this is why everything in this video connects. The calm, the extra years, the deep sleep, the thrill, the bond, the courage. None of it is really about exercise. It's about giving your cat a life that feels like the one they were born for, with you at the centre of it. 10 minutes a day. That's the whole secret. That's how you become the most important thing in your cat's world. And if you want to keep your cat thriving long after this video ends, stick around. Drop a comment with your cat's name, I read every single one, and let me know which of these 6 reasons hit closest to home for you and your cat. If this video changed even one thing about how you see those 10 minutes a day, share it with another cat owner who needs to hear it too. Until next time, go pick up that toy. Your cat's already waiting.